So another huge thank you to Isaiah Jones over on Instagram, as without him, this video would not have been possible. I'm not kidding when I say I can't find anything right now, so thanks for locating this for me, my guy. Please go check out Isaiah's page. Also, as so far I have only received permission from one of the winners of the Cheetor giveaway to announce who they are, congratulations to Teletraan1 Reviews. May the figure serve you well and your eventual review of it do gangbusters in the viewership. And if you are the other winner, I have a question. Do you want me to announce you as a winner? So, before this ever came out, I was saying that it really needed to be a weaponizer. What are the Junkions famous for? Falling apart and being able to put themselves back together. They are famous for part swarming with stuff like their wheels becoming their shields. And they are famous for being able to swap their limbs with each other. Being a weaponizer would have allowed for all of that and more. They could have had it come with separate parts and accent pieces so you could reconfigure it as other members of the Junkions and not just Wreckgar. But I think the priority was to give Wreckgar a good figure for once, as Wreckgar is a character who's needed a good representation of him for kind of forever. Much like a lot of the 86 and Season 3 characters, this guy has gone a long time without even really a decent figure to his name. Galvatron, Cyclonus, Rodimus, Cup, Unicron. All of those characters had figures before that were at best very flawed, and Wreckgar was no exception. Hell, he was harder up than most. And I mean, for him, that's kind of understandable. Motorcycles are hard to do. And in robot mode, let me tell you, they did it right here. Holy shit, dude. Wow, they did an amazing job with this robot mode. It's like it jumped off the screen. I think the only thing that doesn't look great here are the legs are a little too wide apart. He kind of looks like he's wearing a diaper. But man, this thing, it looks good. It's painted well, it's huge, and it's 30 bucks. Let me just point that out, it's 30 bucks. This is a Voyager. Why is it that the mainline Transformers figures have been getting smaller and smaller and more expensive, while the quality seems to be waning because Hasbro claims they have to do that to be profitable? And yet every now and then, like with Beast Wars Megatron, and every other Transformers line Hasbro puts out, they seem to be operating the same as ever, and in many cases, better than ever. Well, except for the Cyberverse line, which is better now, but still isn't very good, and it started pathetically. But yeah, this is not from the main line, and it shows. There is almost not one detail out of place on this thing, so I am going to have to fight to not make this video super short because let me tell you, it's a whole lot easier getting a script long enough by saying what they could have fixed and how they should have fixed it rather than writing, it's good, here's how you don't fix that. If I have one other problem with the visuals of this, it's the backs of the wrists. These are probably some of the uglier ones I've ever seen. It doesn't help that the joint is brown with the fists being tan and the arm being orange. The colors clash, and whatever orange this is just eats up shadows. So these gaps get dark when not lit by like the 3,000 light sources I use for my videos. I suppose also the handlebars on his back are a little weird the way they just jut out like that, and they're all two shiny giant pins. I think they had to be this big to prevent these from just pulling off because they are made out of rubber. Why? Why are these made out of rubber? There is no other rubber on this figure. Making this out of rubber feels insane to me. Actually, I spoke too soon. The beard and the mustache are also made out of rubber. I still don't get why. I am so worried about these spikes breaking. This one already came bent out of the packaging, and they are so long and thin, I am sure that if I drop this thing, they can snap. Also, his nipples. But check this out, this is super clever. They wanted Wreckgar to be able to use his tires as a shield, but these spikes would get in the way. So what they've done is put a hole in the tires and then formed the peg around the hole, so the spikes slot through them, even adding to the look of the shield. That's a brilliant idea. It does mean that this guy is a parts warmer, and I do think they could have had one of the tires split and then go into the back of the calves, and the other break in half and go into the arms. And that might have been better, but this was still a fantastic and enjoyable solution. This doesn't feel like pure laziness because they put so much thought into it. Though to be fair, that was probably an element of it since it's hard to deal with the motorcycle's tires. Especially on this design that basically ignored the fact that they had to exist in the first place. Is it just me, or do his feet look like ninja shoes? Also, there is so much varied paint on this figure. A huge part of the legs are painted, arms are almost all the way painted, head has a ton, back and sides have a super ton, and all the nubbins on the tires are too. I always say I'm not one for paint, but I can appreciate the quality when it's in front of me, and this is really going for it on the paint front. The head is great, near perfect, and weird at the same time. This is like the antithesis of the rest of the 86 line. For once, the face is just spot on what was shown in the movie. I swear whoever is working on the head sculpts for most of the line is trying to make an army of movie stars. Like Willem de Cup, Shark DeVito, and Glenn Clonus. But this one is just perfectly the character. It's honestly strange to see just how accurate this is given the last year of Transformers or so. But there is one really odd aspect of this head. The mustache and the beard are separate pieces of soft rubber that are plugged into the face after the fact. And there are clear holes in the face where they are supposed to go. The mustache is bad enough, you can just rationalize that as his cheekbones, but the chin has a huge hole in it because the beard doesn't actually fill the gap they've left for it. And I've seen this in every single picture of this thing, so it's not just mine. I don't understand the reasoning behind this. Like, this didn't need to be rubber, it could have just been fine as hard plastic, and they wouldn't need to worry about it conforming to the proper shape. It's not like this gives any more range of motion by it being pliable. Another cool thing about this head is the fact that they even went to the effort of painting the gauges on the back of his noggin. This guy comes with some stuff that's pretty mandatory just by the nature of it being a parts warmer, but it's nice stuff nonetheless, and at least one other thing. He comes with 2 tires for vehicle mode, they are made out of 3 parts and are well painted, they can spin but not the best, they get hung up a lot, and they feel kind of gritty, but sometimes if the stars align you can get this to go for a good bit. And let me tell you, these do not roll on a hard surface. Put these on a carpet or some cloth and you are in business, but a table or a light box like mine isn't going to cut it. Also, he comes with his axe. It looks great, though it seems a little short, but let me tell you, this runs so well it makes fidget spinners jealous. Oh, and the backdrop for this one is kinda cool. Normally I wouldn't mention this, but I like this one. So, this stuff is pretty good and very appropriate. He doesn't come with a gun, but he didn't use one in the movie, and he's not known for one, so who cares? Now, the next category is something special. This guy cuts a pose! Technically, some of his joints are really limited, but he's got what he needs, let me tell you. Head's a little below average, but you can untransform the chest for a ton of up. Shoulders pull way more than a 90, though you still need some cheating for maximum up. He doesn't have a natural butterfly joint, but you can untransform him for an extreme backwards one. Elbows only pull a 90, lame. He's got sword-wielding wrists, so that kicks ass, and they still rotate, so even better. Ab crunch, fucking ab crunch, hell yeah. Unimpeded hips, less than 90 knees, ew. There is no reason they couldn't have made these go further. Feet have a little up, a ton of down, and a separate rocker. So yeah, he's got some good stuff and some bad stuff, but that, along with the sculpt, makes this a dynamic as fuck figure. This guy looks so sick when you pose him. Seriously, you can put this guy into some awesome looking stances. And it's not even hard. Like, this thing just does all the work. It makes Wingfinger look like a dull brick. It is so cool. Transformation's not though. This is not the highlight of this figure. It's a little clunky and it is not as tight as you want. Parts of it, after doing them time and again, still don't stick with me and don't really feel natural. There's also some faux forming, but it is the understandable kind. If it wasn't there, they'd have to leave the front of the bike as just the head, and I mean, the part does still end up in the right place. It just gets to the correct size it needs to be without a shrink ray set to reverse. And the motorcycle mode is a good approximation of the idea of his alt mode. The one on screen was a good bit different than this, but we never got the best look at it, and it wasn't exactly the most consistent between shots. Some of them, from some angles, are pretty close, to the point where they must have used specific shots for inspiration for this figure. I mean, the back end of this is almost exactly like this specific frame right here. Part of the problem is that as much as it might seem like it, not all the Junkions look similar in alt mode. Like, this guy's design is actually way different. It's weird that Wreckgar was totally riding around on a duplicate of himself. So, the more I look at this, the more I'm finding it to be close. They clearly went to great pains like I did to find the brief few frames where you get any kind of shot of Wreckgar's alt mode. I am amazed they actually managed to do this, and shocked that the animators had the foresight to design his alt mode in a potentially workable manner like this. So the accuracy is actually kind of stunning me. I'm not going to rewrite this script so I can take you on this journey with me. It would be easy to pretend I knew all along that this was as accurate as it is. But I think it's more interesting that we both realize that this is amazingly accurate together. This still does have some problems though. Like, this is more of a stiff chain of parts rather than anything securely tabbed together, so it's easy to have the seat fold in and rub on his tire, or get the feet to come loose. And then there's this really annoying gap right here, which I think they could have flipped this whole section to fill with the handlebars, or just not have had in the first place. I don't really know why this cutout exists. It's not like it needs to be there for the transformation or the robot mode. And the paint is really on display here. Anyways, phenomenal alt mode. A little loosey-goosey on how it holds together, but man, this is actually way better than I was giving it credit for. This figure is amazing. And I mean, do I even have to say what this is? It does everything so well, looks great, accurate beyond reason, articulation's awesome, transformation falls a little short of fun, but hey, that's the case with lots of masterpieces. Alt mode is amazing, and it's built great. This is the kind of figure I have no reservations about recommending. That is a stamp I am very tentative to give to anything. I don't want to tell you to waste money on something you don't love. But you need this. Like the movie? You need this. Like G1? You need this. Like good Transformers figures? You need this. I did not say this for the Sharkticon because I forgot to. Not because it didn't earn the title, but because I am dumb. This is a micro masterpiece. They both are, but this runs circles around the Sharkticon. Normally, I hate the term micro masterpiece because it's never really accurate. You are always kind of stretching definitions to get there. This time, no. This is just a masterpiece figure, shrunk down a little and being sold in the Generations line for Generations price. And not even Leader, it's a Voyager, $30. Do not pass this guy up. I don't say that lightly. You know me. I predict this will go down as one of the best Chug figures ever produced. Dead serious. God, I hope I didn't just overhype you on this and none of you are disappointed by it. And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.